unusual.
Top of the morning to you is Thursday, the 5th day of December 2024, and today, as always, we'll take a look at commodity reports and activities from our selected exchanges on the segment Opening Bell. Business news stories will come to you from Africa and the rest of the world on global business. And then we will take a look at issues affecting businesses in the southeastern part of Nigeria on the Eastern Business Report. And then finally, activities and conversations from around the market will come to you on Afia. The Afia Business Morning takes center stage every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. My name is Ubong Kings. Welcome to the Afia Business Morning. Just so you know, we're jumping right up into the news update, and after that, it will be time for us to take a look at what's happening on the exchanges on the opening bell. Please stay.
Good morning. Many thanks for staying tuned to Afia TV. This is News Update, and I am Uncle Chukwuosai. Now we begin the stories from Enugu, where the Nigerian Bar Association has pledged to take appropriate actions against the alleged extortion of citizens by certain police officers in the state, which violates their fundamental human rights. Meanwhile, in Abia State, the governor, Alex Oti, has directed a revision of the salary structure for the new national minimum wage to address errors identified in the consequential adjustments. Moving on to Abuja, where the Nigerian Senate has yielded to public pressure suspending deliberations on the 4 controversial tax reform bills sent in by President Bola Tinubu until contentious issues are sorted out. Elsewhere on the foreign scene, South Korean lawmakers have introduced a bill to impeach President Yoon Suk-yeol after his brief declaration of martial law, which was later rescinded amid a chaotic standoff involving parliament and the military. And last, from the world of sports, Kwara United has announced the postponement of their match day 16 game against Enyimba, originally scheduled for Saturday, December 8th. The match has been rescheduled due to Enyimba's participation in the CAF Confederation Cup. And that's all on the news updates. For more information, visit our website. Follow us on all social media platforms at Afia TV Official. I am Ogochukwu Osai. Many thanks for watching.
The Afia Business Morning. Join me every weekday on the Afia Business Morning as we bring to you a trilogy of business segments. The Opening Bell, where we see activities from our selected stock exchanges. The Global Business, where we bring you up to speed on business activities making the rounds all over the world. And we bring the conversation home on the segment Eastern Business Reports, as we discuss business activities and issues bedeviling businesses in the Southeast region. My name is Ubong Kings. Join the 17. The Afia Business Morning. Business unusual.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Trading on the floor of the Nigerian opening now. Exchange is yet to open, while in China, opening bells went off at 2 a.m. local time. Welcome to the opening bell segment, but first we're going to be taking a quick look at some business news stories making the rounds, and we'd like to start from the continental economy, where it's reported that Zimbabwe is to end 2024 with Africa's highest interest rate. Zimbabwe's economic woes are set to follow into the new year as it continues with Africa's highest interest rate, where the Southern African country's interest rate is now at 35%, after the Monetary Policy Committee voted to keep the same borrowing rates during its final meeting of the year. And from there, let's take a look at some global stories. And this has to do with China. China bans rare mineral exports to the U.S. It's reported that China, which produces almost all the world's supply of critical minerals, has announced the banning of the exporting of several rare minerals to the United States, which is an escalation of the tech war between the world's two biggest powers. Details of these stories and more will come to you on Global Business. And away from that, we're going straight to the floors of our featured exchange. And like they say, charity begins at home, so we start off on the floors of the Nigerian Stock Exchange this morning, where it's reported that the all-share index as of yesterday closed on a high, rising by 0.48% to close at 98,175.00 points. May interest you to know that a total of 521,918,004 shares which were valued at 19,932,502,351 naira. 8 kobo were traded across 9,420 deals with equity capitalization of 59,512,437,297,761 naira 93 kobo. Now let's take a look at the biggest gainer and loser of the day. The biggest gain of the day was gold brewers, which rose by 9.83%. Other gainers were the likes of Thomas Y, FT & Cocoa, Deep Cap, and NEM. On the other hand, however, Sino Sure topped the losers list with a decline of 9.85%. Other losers were Learn Africa, HM Core, PZ, and Sterling Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be looking at activities from other selected exchanges. I'm talking about the likes of the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, the Chinese Stock Exchange, which of course comprises Shenzhen and Shanghai exchanges. The Afia Business Morning indeed opening bell. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to the Afia Business Morning, and you are watching Opening Bell. We're going straight to the floors of other featured exchanges this morning, and we continue with the New York Stock Exchange this morning, where it's mostly rises in index values across board, with just two dips being that of the NYSE Composite DJ, which is down at 0.02%. The NYSE US 100 index is also down at 0.07%. However, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up at 0.56%. The S&P 500 index is up at 0.41%. The NYSE FANG TM index is up 1.72%. Nasdaq Composite, Nasdaq 100, both up with the same values of 0.90%. And now we go to the UK now, London. The exchange there, well, it's mostly dips in index values across board. with the only rise there being that of FTSE 250, which is up at 0.54%. And then the FTSE 100, FTSE 350, FTSE or share index are all down at 0.29%, 0.20% and 0.19% respectively. And now let's move over to Asia, stopping by at the exchange at China, where as at yesterday, well, it was more or less at the Shenzhen exchange, more specifically, it was more or less a few dips, just one dip, and the rest was rises. But today, there's all dips in index values across the board because the Shenzhen Component Index is down at 1.02%. The ZSE Composite Index down 1.22%. Chinex Index is also down at 1.43%. And well, while we still remain in China, let's go to Shanghai, where interestingly, it's all dips in index values across board compared to yesterday. Yesterday it was all rises in index values across board at Shanghai, but today the reverse is the case with the SSE Composite Index down at 0.42%. The SSE 50 Index is also down 0.16%. Star 50 Index down 0.59%. SSE 180 Index, SSE 380 Index, CSI 300 Index all down at 0.34%, 0.72%, and 0.54% respectively. We will go on another break, and when we return, we'll be looking at commodity prices as well as our consumer price watch in the open market. You may want to follow this program and join in on the conversation on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/Afia Business, and while you're there, do hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe also so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And while you're at it, you just know you can follow us on Instagram with the handle at Afia Business _ to be part of our social media community. The Afia Business Morning and indeed opening bell will be right back after this time out. Stay tuned. My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Akwamaga.
I am Chioma Akbala.
My name is Ifunaya Ndule, but I'm living in market speaking.
Yeah, welcome back, and I am Ubong Kings. It's still the Afia Business Morning, and you are watching Opening Bell right here on Afia TV. It's time to check in on commodity prices, and well, we will start with precious metals, and incidentally, it's upward movement for gold today on almost all precious metals, except of course for platinum, which is down at 0.45%. Gold, however, is up at 0.42%. Silver and palladium are both up at 1.25% and 1.72% respectively. Now let's take a look at energy this morning. Energy is a mixture of rises and dips with more of dips than rises. The only three commodities that are up are ethanol, Brass River and Kwaibo, which are all up at 0.98%, 2.26% and 2.26% respectively. Now natural gas is down at 1.41%. Coal is down 1.61%, oil Brent is down 0.54%, oil Bonilite is also down at a whooping 2.84%. And now let's take a look at industrial metals this morning. Well, industrial metals chart this morning is all bullish because all the commodities are all up. Aluminium is up at 1.42%, lead is up at 1.94%, iron ore is up 0.72%, copper is up 1.08%, nickel is up 1.50%, zinc and tin both up at 0.04% and 0.53% respectively. You are watching the Afia Business Morning. This indeed is Opening Bell. Do well to follow this program and join in on the conversation on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/@Afia Business, and while you're there, do well to hit the like button, engage in conversations, and of course remember to subscribe so you get notifications on all business related content coming to you from Afia TV. You can also follow us on socials, Instagram more specifically, with the handle @Afia Business_ to be part of a social media community. Up next, we're going to be taking a quick look at the hikes in prices of food commodities in the open market, as well as hikes in fuel prices. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow on the Opening Bell when the exchanges reopen for trading. The Afia Business Morning will be right back at 10:30 with the segment we call Global Business. My name is Ubong Kings. Good morning.
Afia Business Morning. Join me every weekday on the Afia Business Morning as we bring to you a trilogy of business segments. See opening bell where we see activities from our selected stock exchanges. See global business where we bring you up to speed on business activities, making the rounds all over the world. And we bring the conversation home on the segment Eastern Business Reports as we discuss business activities and issues bedeviling businesses in the Southeast region. My name is Ubon Kings. Join the Afia Business Morning every weekday 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Exclusive to Afia TV on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17. The Afia Business Morning. Business unusual.
Thank you for rejoining me on the Afia Business Morning. Welcome to Global Business. And here, we'll be taking a look at business news stories around the continent of Africa and indeed the rest of the world. My name is Ubon Kings. Here are the headlines we are tracking at the moment. Starting off from business news stories around Africa, where it is reported that African Airlines growth slow in global air cargo market. And outside Africa now, China bans rare mineral exports to the U.S. From the world of aerospace, German AI company moves into attack drone manufacturer. We'll bring you details of these news stories and more right after this time out. Stay tuned. You're watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning. So we begin with telling you the stories from Africa, where it's reported that, the International Air Transport Association, IATA, has revealed that African Airlines has recorded the slowest growth in the global air cargo market in October 2024, as African carriers contributed only 2% to the global air cargo market. Meanwhile, the air cargo outbound growth further increased by 9% 3 months later in September 2024, in comparison to September 2023, where the North Africa and Southern African regions accounted for a significant part of this outbound growth, since air cargo traffic from these sub-regions increased by plus 23% and plus 20% respectively. The IATA data, however, highlights that despite expanding cargo capacity, the region's air cargo demand has lagged, pointing to challenges in fully utilizing the available resources. Now, really quickly, let's look at something here, very intriguing, an intriguing detail, if you may. For starters, question would be, why? Why won't Africa carriers contribute only 2% to global air cargo market when the system is already plagued with obvious suppression and or exploitation of African carriers? Think about it. A case in point will be that of Alan Yema of Air Peace, who had lamented on several occasions these shady practices against his airline Air Peace. Meanwhile, since we were talking about air travel and the likes, it may interest you to know that this is an update I want to give you anyway. In the spirit of the Yuletide, it may interest you to know that Aero Contractors, as it were, is which of course is Nigeria's oldest aviation company, has slashed its fares to an average of 80,000 naira for local flights. Now, the airfare reduction came at this season where airfares have continually skyrocketed due to high aviation fuel and maintenance costs And just so you know, aero contractors supply Abuja, Asaba, Benin City, Calabar, Kaduna, Kano, Enugu, Lagos, Owerri, Port Harcourt, Uyo, and Sokoto. You get it? I just say make I give you update. And moving on into another story, still in a related development because it's still from the world of aerospace, is reported that global airlines are slowly switching to green jet fuel, where discoveries have shown too little investment by oil producers in the transition, as the airline sector is calling for more production of the aviation fuel, which can be made from materials such as wood chips and cooking oil. Currently, sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, makes about 1% of aviation fuel used on the global market, which is to increase in order for airlines to meet carbon emission reduction targets, where the fuel can cost between 2 to 5 times more than regular jet fuel. Unfortunately, a lack of investment by major oil players who have the capital to build SAF processing factories is hampering the market's growth. Real quickly, for the sake of context, let's make some things clear. There is actually an alternative to the regular aviation fuel, jet fuel. That's the truth, and it's called the green jet fuel. Interestingly too, according to this story, it can be made from materials like wood chips and cooking oil, used cooking oil. But here's the catch, it is actually more expensive than regular jet fuel. Do you know why? It's simple. There's a lack of investment by major oil players who pretty much have the capital to build the SAF, that's the Sustainable Aviation Fuel Processing Factories, and this is hampering the market's growth. Now, which, if they do, it will crash the price of aviation fuel and by extension help save the environment. But then, fingers crossed, we'll see how all this pans out eventually. And moving on to other stories making the rounds, and this time around, we're going to the world of tech. It was reported that German artificial intelligence, AI, and security company Helsing has launched its first strike drone named HX2, which comes as the company attempts to take advantage of increasing interest in autonomous weapons, mainly due to the ongoing war in Russia. Now, however, Helsing's new drone are expected to be used as counter-invasion shields along country borders and against hostile ground forces. The drones can be manufactured at a much lower unit cost than other traditional weapon systems due to their ability to be mass-produced, especially with sophisticated techniques such as 3D printing. Now, meanwhile, Helsing attempting to sell the HX2 drone to NATO allies, including the UK, following the drone already is being used in Ukraine, as it were. But then let's look at something very critically here. There's something that I want to emphasize in this particular story, and that is the 3D printing concept. Now, according to the Punch newspaper, by way of research, Africa has long lagged in manufacturing, accounting for only 1.3% of global exports. Take note of that. Manufacturing accounting for just 1.3% of global exports, despite having about 17% of the world's population. However, 3D printing and printed construction is transforming how structures are built, how machinery is built. Now, this technology is pretty much relatively foreign to Africa. Don't get me wrong, some persons are adopting it already, but then it's relatively new. Imagine being able to 3D print our weapons, buildings, yeah, you heard me, aircraft, almost anything. There is a possibility, but then how many of us have begun to see all these possibilities, or am I building castles in the air? Well, only time will tell. You're still watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning, and you may want to kindly join in on the conversation and pretty much watching live right now on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/@AfiaBusiness. And while you're there, do well to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And you can join us on socials, more specifically on Instagram, with the handle @AfiaBusiness_ to be part of our social media community. Up next will be more business news stories from the world of tech right after this time out. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Afia Business Morning Party on Afia TV. You are still watching Global Business. Now to the rest of our stories. And this time, we're still taking more stories from the world of tech, where it's reported that the U.S. has expanded its list of Chinese technology companies that are subject to export controls, where over 140 companies newly included in the so-called entity list are nearly all based in China and include those that make equipment used for computer chips, chip-making tools and software, while some are Chinese-owned businesses in Japan, South Korea and Singapore. However, the U.S. Bureau of Industry and Security stated that the rules would impair China's ability to produce semiconductors that can be used in next generation of advanced weapon systems and in artificial intelligence, AI and advanced computing, which have significant military applications. Now, furthermore, the revised rules also limit exports of high bandwidth memory chips to China, which are needed to process massive amounts of data in advanced applications such as artificial intelligence. Now, these sanctions and bans keep increasing on China and its numerous industries. All I see from this story really is power play, right? The gameplay for world dominance. It was first in electric vehicle space, now it's in the semiconductor space, and clearly it may move to other parts. And then this is pretty much the case of winner takes it all, and America seems to want it to look like they have the upper hand, as it were, at the moment. But don't forget that this is China we're talking about here, the second largest economy, the second most powerful nation in the world, as it were. Anyway, we'll eventually see how this pans out, and I actually anticipate a retaliation from China. Talking about retaliation, that brings me to my next story. China, which produces well, pretty much almost all the world's supply of critical minerals, has announced the banning of the exporting of several rare minerals to the United States, which is an escalation of the tech war between the two world's biggest powers. Now, this ban signals Beijing's willingness to engage in supply chain warfare by blocking the export of important components used to make valuable products like weaponry and semiconductors. Meanwhile, in October, China began requiring its exporters of rare earth metals used in everything from advanced semiconductors to smart bombs to disclose step by step how the minerals will be used in Western supply chains. Now, let me break it down for you. On one hand, we have the U.S. banning putting a lot of sanctions on Chinese semiconductors coming into the country. China, on the other hand, is banning the exportation of minerals that are used to produce these semiconductors to the U.S. Who is at the losing end here? Because number one, the U.S. now would not be able to produce semiconductors because most of it is sourced from China. You see where this is going? And then you are banning the finished product that they do, that they're bringing to the U.S. Meanwhile, they are banning the exportation of the raw material that the U.S. will need to produce their own semiconductors. So you see why I say this is a trade war, yeah? Because this is just what happens when two elephants fight. And we sincerely have not seen the end of this trade war. I tell you the gospel truth. We'll see how it unfolds eventually. Anyway, Straight Arrow News takes out the time to tell us more on how China retaliates at the U.S. chip restrictions by banning shipment of key materials. Let's take a look.
Tuesday, it will stop shipping rare minerals and metals used to make military components, semiconductors, batteries, electronics, and solar panels, including gallium, germanium, antimony, and graphite. The Biden administration expanded its technology curbs to China on Monday, prohibiting the sale of certain types of chips and machinery, adding more than 100 companies to a restricted trade list. This is the third move by President Biden in the past 3 years to prevent China from acquiring and making advanced computer chips, citing national security threats to the U.S. The chips are used for powering AI and supercomputers that can be used to launch cyber attacks and design find new weapons. A spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responding to the latest restrictions. Such practices seriously undermine the international economic and trade order, disrupt the stability of global production and the supply chain, and harms the interests of all countries. Chinese industry groups are now calling for Chinese companies to purchase chips within China or from countries other than the United States, saying American chip products are no longer safe and reliable. The groups did not go into detail on the issues with U.S. chips.
With this story as well as other stories as they unfold and keep you in the loop just so you know what's happening. And talking about keeping you in the loop, you may want to get to our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel and watch in live. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/Afia Business. While you're there, do to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe as well so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You can also follow us on socials, Instagram more specifically with the handle at Afia Business _ to be part of a social media community. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning live on Afia TV. Coming up next will be a conversation around food security and the future of Nigeria on the Eastern Business Report. The Afia Business Morning will be right back. My name is Ubon Kings. Stay tuned. My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Afia.
I am Chioma Akbala.
My name is Ifulaya Ndule, but I'm living in a market speaking.